It's June the 3rd, 2026. You know why you're here, so let's kick this off right and introduce the players. Hey, I'm Jarisar, a WoW esports aficionado.
Hey guys, it's Big Moran, and I was having mic problems before, and that's why we're late, but they have been resolved, thankfully.
I mean, we're recording this. It's not exactly like anybody shows up live. I'm not sure if that really makes that big of a difference, but I'm glad that we got it sorted out because, my God, man, I don't know what your computer thought it was using, but it sounded like your computer was hooked up to one of those like tin cans with a string. It.
Are you saying I should unplug my potato from my computer? That's connected with USB. That's how I charge it. You know, I need to charge. Charging my computer with the potassium.
A potato battery. Now I can just imagine you're going to be at BlizzCon this year and people are going to walk up to you and just start handing you a potato.
Oh, I'd gladly accept that.
Too funny. So, hey, what have you been up to? You sent me a DM the other day, bragging about some roguery you've been doing.
Yes. So I don't know when I leveled my rogue. I think that was like 3 weeks ago, or I don't know. Anyway, last week I couldn't play Arena. I was stuck in a hotel. It's a different story. But this week I got to experience the inflation, and my rogue was already pretty high rated and shuffle on both and sub before the inflation, and then these past few days I've just been reaping the rewards of Blizzard's gracious donation of MMR, and It's been an interesting experience.
Interesting. So where were you before that? Before the inflation?
I think on both specs I was just around 2,300, and now I'm about 2,600, so like 300 rating higher.
Wow.
In these past 2 weeks, yes.
I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad. And but the thing is, so I mean, we're going to talk a lot about inflation on this episode. I take it. I have some mixed feelings about this whole inflation thing. On one hand, I think it's pretty cool that you can just get high rating. Like that always feels nice. Bigger number feels good.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's like, well, how much is too much? And I think in this particular case, I'm more upset that this inflation didn't happen sooner.
Yeah.
Because it's so weird when they just randomly inflate the ladder. Like, what is it? We're like 9 weeks in, more than 9 weeks, 10 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
Into the expansion, they decided to do it. Like, why not just do it early? Like, give people their rewards. Like allow people to get super high rated very early on, and that way people feel good about PvP and want to continue playing PvP. But I think waiting this long felt a little bit strange to me, honestly.
Yeah, it was, and I was actually interacting both in Discord and then over on Twitter about this because, and you mentioned this, is now a fresh tune hopping into, let's say, Solo Shuffle is starting at like 2,100, 2,200 MMR. Yeah, as a fresh tune. Like that's a bit ludicrous. And on Discord, the conversation was about a person who they just started. They kind of won. A person AFK'd after the first round, so technically they went 2-2, but they gained 128 CR and lost 150 MMR and couldn't figure it out. It's like, but and I think they're 2109 or something like that. But even that, if a person like that person had history, like they knew what they were doing in arenas. But I can imagine if like a person was like, hey, first time, I kind of want to try this PvP thing finally. I'm just going to queue up, and then they queue up and they're like, what am I doing in amongst these 2100s and stuff like that? I don't even know what I'm doing. They're just going to get smushed. So I like, the numbers matter though, right? Because now you have a person who's going in fresh and not knowing anything, getting smushed by people that totally, like, you know, they're totally, it's the lamb being fed to the sharks, if you will, versus, like you're saying, like before that, people were struggling just to get to 2K 2100, and now like everybody's up towards 3K now with this injection. Like, was it too late?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's a few things that are weird here. For one, placement games are always so bizarre. Like, you know, first of all, usually your placement games, when you queue shuffle, the very first time you queue shuffle, you're going to be with people who are 0 rated. So everyone, at least all the DPS typically are 0 rated. So some of those people are going to be in complete blues. You know, they're going to have full honor gear. You know, maybe one of those people is going to have like full epics somehow. You know, maybe they've been queuing blitz. But then if you do well in your very first lobby, which Venruki did today. So Venruki recently leveled a Disc Priest, got it, you know, geared a little bit, went into shuffle today for the first time. I think his starting MMR, so the fresh MMR right now, and it was like 2175 roughly, somewhere around there. Then he went, I believe he went either 4-2 or 5-1 in that lobby, and he was instantly at 2400 MMR. So like with it, if you know, if you're in one of these placement games in solo shuffle and you accidentally do well, or you know, intentionally do well, you're immediately at 2400, which is, I mean, that's pretty good. Like, inflation or not, that's a pretty crazy number to just be at immediately. And absolutely. It's the weird thing with inflation to me is it makes sense to inflate ratings of established people who have been playing. But then, you know, that starting MMR, I don't know why they also inflate that so heavily. You know, like I feel like that should not be inflated nearly as much because of what I just described. Like, you could just get lucky, win your first lobby and be 2400. That's crazy.
Well, there was even happening before where people were on their placement games getting some crazy wins, and like three lobbies through, and there's 3K MMR, and they're sitting, you know, a 4-hour queue because there's nobody with the same MMR near them, right? So, I mean, I still think, I think we talked about this before, and I do believe that the way rating and MMR are calculated in solo shuffle and solo queues, there's something wrong with that whole formula. It needs tweaking. And I think we've all surmised that the system is just really what was used in regular arenas, regular rated, and they just plunked it into the solo shuffle. And except for, like, obviously with the difference that, yes, it's tied only to your spec, and yes, healers are in their own kind of bracket, if you will, but that's all kind of behind the scenes, really. The thing I'm worried about is what happens after this. So after season 1 ends, there's going to be people that are at some number. You know, they probably made a personal best. They're, you know, maybe they finally got Gladiator, which is now the 2300, and they feel like they're so powerful. Like, you know, they have this number, you know, they're so great, and that's a measurement of their greatness or their capability. And then season 1's going to turn around and all the inflation's gone, and they're going to feel like a potato.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was saying is like, this inflation, I think, is a little bit too late. Like, if you're going to do this sort of aggressive inflation, you might as well just do it at the very beginning of the season. That way, at least it kind of sets up your expectations for the next season, you know, and like, okay, we inflated this season, and, you know, of course we expect the ratings next season to be slightly lower, but then if they could just like inflate the beginning of every single season pretty aggressively, I think, you know, you can help people's expectations with that. One thing that's crazy, by the way, Lika just posted this on Twitter.
Yeah.
is next week we are supposed to surpass the inflation we had in Dragonflight season 2, which is crazy. Which was like the most, or not Dragonflight, Shadowlands season 2. And which was, I think, probably the season where the most number of people got Gladiator. And right now, I think 2300 is like top 1000 on the ladder. So right now there's like 1,000 Gladiators, which is ridiculous. But I mean, people are playing. People want the rewards. You know, I can't blame them. And I think inflation just seems to me like this very convenient lever that Blizzard can just pull to get people interested in queuing the game.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I'm a fan, but I just wish they would have done it earlier and then keep it a bit consistent throughout seasons.
Totally. Now, speaking of other things that people have said about numbers and not really the inflation, that whole conversation, I think you're spot on. But just talking about numbers and personalities and stuff like that, we were talking in our DMs the other day and earlier today about Marker's video, right? Now, what do you? I want you to actually summarize it. So, what was he saying, and how does that pertain to our conversation about numbers?
So, Marker has made a video a few days ago, maybe a week ago, I don't remember, where he's walking with his cell phone and he's filming himself talking to the camera. And he immediately says that WoW players have this tendency to optimize the fun out of the game. And, you know, he talks about the fact that these days it's like no matter what form of content you're doing, you're just trying to do it the most optimal way, the best way. You're looking at guides, you're trying to like min-max everything. And this is most evident in the classic expansions. Like the reason why these classic re-releases never feel the same as the original game is like people just want to optimize the heck out of them. And that, like, you know, 15 years ago, no one was really playing optimally in PvP. And just to be clear, what I mean by like playing optimally is like it's taking the game and making it into a giant formula. And you know, everything, as you know, we're talking about numbers, everything is a number. You know, your gear is a number, your class is a number, your spec is a number, your play style is a number, and all you care about is making those numbers as big as possible. So, you know, if you're playing classic WoW, that means like, okay, I play the most meta spec. Okay, then I need partners. Let me go find other meta specs to partner up with. Okay, I need my gear. Let me find the exact BIS list, you know, the exact optimal stats that I need. Okay, now let me enter arena. Let me just, you know, do the exact optimal thing needed to win that arena. It's just like, to me, it's like a loss of creativity and a loss of freedom to care only about, you know, optimization. And it's, you know, what Marker says is extremely true, that this is a problem that exists in other games. It's not just WoW. It's just kind of this general phenomenon, you know, that's happened in games. And I think that's just because like the access to information is so much greater now than it was like 20 years ago. 20 years ago, there might have been like 2 people making guides on YouTube. You know, now there's like an infinity number of people making guides on YouTube. I discovered this today because on YouTube you can click to see, you know, games, you know, videos for certain games. I check the WoW videos. I'm like, oh my god, like there is so many people making guides. Like, you know, some of these guides have tens of thousands of views. Some of them have like 50 views, but like people are making guides, man. Like everyone's making a guide and everyone's looking for guides.
What I find interesting is how I remember before guides would always show up like week 6 almost, and now they're showing up like maybe week 1, week 2. like especially PvP guides. I found a lot of the people that I looked for to make guides, when they didn't produce the guides until they had achieved their goals, and then they put out to show the weaknesses as well as the strengths and how to play, because it was almost like they're afraid that if they did it before, then their enemies would know how to play, how the class is being played or how they're playing, and then how they can be countered.
Yeah,
which I find isn't the case anymore. It's things are coming up pretty fast. But yeah, now here's a thing, and something I've noticed in the WoW community, and I think it's still there, but it hasn't been as flaunted, or maybe it's just the circles I'm in, I'm not seeing as flaunted anymore. But I remember before, like if a person had a gladiator, like they were sitting in the city with their glad mount hovering, or they're down in Goldshire, or whatever, like, but they're totally showing off that they have the glad mount. They're, when you meet them, they totally flaunt the fact that, that what their CR is or what their experience is, right? And they really hang their whole persona on that number that they've achieved. And I haven't seen that quite as much anymore. Is it just, are you seeing that that's decreased a bit, or is it just that because maybe the season is so more inflated that like there's over 1,000 glads that people are like not as flaunting it yet?
Well, I think it kind of depends on the player. I think there's people right now who are getting Gladiator for the first time who feel very proud about it. Absolutely. But like for maybe WoW is obviously an old game, so maybe for some of the more established players, it's like at this point in time, they don't care as much about those metrics. Like I'm sure Swapsy doesn't truly care how high rating he is. Like I'm sure he does to some degree, but it's not like he loses sleep over it, right? Like he has the most rank 1 titles of all time, and him getting glad is just part of the it's just part of the process. Or you had players like Jelly Beans, who was like competing in AWC, BlizzCon, whatever, who like was getting duelists for multiple seasons in a row. There's like these like this drastically different set of priorities for different sorts of players.
True.
I do think though, people should not shame others for getting Gladiator for the first time, because I think that's something that a lot of PvPers like to do. It's like, oh, you just got Glad now. Like what a loser, and oh, he played a Demon Hunter, like, oh, what a loser. It's like, man, like
your title doesn't actually count. It was given to you because of inflation and because your class was OP. It's like, well,
yes,
no, there's a bit more to it than that. Thank you very much. I don't disagree. I don't know. I think, and that's also something the Marcus was talking about, though, is just like how, how people hang everything on their CR, and when they lose, how it was, they almost crash out, right? And then, but they queue up right away, anyways. Like they're emotionally unstable and probably angry and going to make more mistakes, but they'll queue right back up because they have to chase that dopamine hit. They have to chase that win, that feeling of being awesome, and wildly, like how in Solo Shuffle, it's notorious. Like the swings are between games, right? In between lobbies, where like one lobby you'll feel like you did some awesome play, and the next lobby, maybe you die because before you can even get your wall up or something like that, right? And just completely fumble. And it's just that's such a roller coaster. Like it's almost like slot machine.
Yeah, Shuffle is the most volatile like bracket by far. And I experienced this playing Balance Druid earlier this expansion. Like for like a few weeks, I was like within the top like 10 ranked Balance Druids, and then I like had one bad queue session. And I'm just like now well outside of the top 10. And it's like, well, I didn't play any worse particularly. It's not like I became a worse player. It's just like that's how shuffle goes. Like you will sometimes just have these really bad queue sessions and it sucks. But it's, what are you gonna do?
Well, that's not. I mean, I remember that happening in threes back when I did threes and even twos, where we would be playing and then suddenly it was just a wall of counter comp. Like all the comps that we kept running into were all counter, so it completely blew away any gains we had made and pushed us back down a bracket or two. And there's nothing you could do about it. I feel like that's the same thing in shuffle, even where you'll get some lobbies that are nothing but counters to your what would make you good, right? Or what would help you succeed, right? So I don't know. I feel like that has always been there. Some of that volatility. I think it's just that because you don't get to choose who your teammates are, that adds to the volatility.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just it adds to the volatility and it kind of adds to the frustration.
Absolutely.
But I at the end of the day, I do like shuffle. Like,
yep.
Regardless of this, I think it's a great bracket. It is an unfortunate flaw that you cannot control who you queue into and who's on your team. But it is what it is, It's
absolutely
part of the appeal.
Yeah. I was enjoying it. I queued up at doing after our whole Devourer discussion, geared up at Devourer, been queuing it into shuffle, having fun. Got over 1600 and then I was like, okay, I think I'm going to call it quits now.
Yeah,
but it's been fun.
Hey, you should queue up right now while the inflation is in. Like,
should.
When's the last time you queued, by the way?
It was over a week ago.
If you, as long as you queue and go 3-3, you'll gain rating and MMR. Like you'll go up. It's crazy right now.
Yeah, I'm tempted. We'll see how I feel after this podcast. But again, like right there, I'm using a number to try and justify or give example of how good I am or where I felt like I landed. And I don't know, is there a better way to do it? Like, are numbers the only way to do that?
I mean, it is the most convenient way to do that, I'd say, right? Like, your rating doesn't perfectly reflect your skill, but it's like a good barometer for your skill, or it's a good sign. It's and I think the thing about rating, cycling back to what we were talking about earlier, is like bigger number is fun. Getting a big number on your screen, whatever that number is, that's a fun feeling in a game.
True.
And yeah, I mean, and then again, circling back a second time, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to optimize everything. You can try to do your own thing, which I think it doesn't surprise me that Markers is the one to make this video, because I think he has a pretty unique play style when it comes to Arena.
Yep.
He likes to play, in his own words, like an aggressive Wrestler Druid, which I respect. And it might not be the most optimal way to play Druid, but it's a fun way to play, and he enjoys it, and it gives him satisfaction. And I think that's what matters the most, is if you can find like a play style that gives you satisfaction of playing a game.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. I think that was one of the best parts that he had in his conversation to his audience, is just how if you find that you're not having fun, like because you're just too busy just trying to gain the number and just trying to play the most optimally you can, then you're missing out. Like maybe after you're done your queue session, like go, like just wander around Azeroth and find that enjoyment, do the discovery, do the part that helps you at least find the fun again, or stop queuing about the, stop caring about the number and just queue and enjoy it. And whatever the number is whatever the number is. Like, so what? Right. And I think that's great advice. I find myself doing that where, like I was, I think I was at 1594, and then I queued up twice and I dropped down because I had some bad lobbies. Partially my fault. Actually, a lot of it was probably my fault, and so then I had to walk away, and that was frustrating. But then I was able to get the gains back. But even then, I think I've talked about this before, where like I've actually had anxiety about queuing because I feel that as a person who podcasts about player versus player, I should be good at it, and I wasn't very successful at Arena. I enjoyed Battlegrounds and stuff like that, but I still don't feel that successful in arenas. But that there was that anxiety of like performing, right? And that took the fun out of it. So I think maybe that's the thing, is like, stop worrying about performing. Just by all means try and do the best you can, but don't worry about doing it perfectly, and just find the fun again.
Well, and as far as the performance anxiety, that's the best part about inflation. It's like, even if you lose, even if you go 2-4, you maybe won't lose MMR or rating, which is kind of fun. It's like, because the worst thing in the world when you queue shuffle is when you go like 2-4 into like maybe another 2-4, and then a series of 3-3s.
Yeah.
And that just feels bad. It's like, well, I've been playing for 4 hours and I'm down on rating. I can't even get my MMR back. Like, that sucks. But inflation kind of removes some of that.
It does.
And it makes you more inclined to queue, which I think is cool.
Yeah, not wrong. I feel bad for that though, like, because we saw it before where people were going 3-3 and losing MMR and losing CR because especially some of the healer lobbies where they were higher MMR or higher CR than others, and so by that they should have done really well, but at best they got was 3-3 because maybe there was some DPS that was on a placement game or something, and just the weakest link, and so be it, right? But it sucks that one person completely destroys, well, not completely destroys, but can set you back a ways, because losing 120 MMR in a session takes a while to get back. That's a serious number of wins, or at least it was back in Dragonflight and the War Within. I'm kind of curious though, like, so you got 2600, so that means you got all the goodies then, right? So you got the pennant, you got the tabard, you got the enchant, you got obviously you got the mount, and the whole lead set, right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I definitely have. I got the tabard usually the tabard is the only thing I kind of truly care about. Okay. Is just getting that, making sure I buy that from the vendor.
Yeah. I think we were talking about that, and somebody noted that you don't actually get told that you earned it. Like, there's, I think it's your tabard, and I want to say, is it the enchant? You don't get the pop-up saying that you've earned it, so you have to then like go look for it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of funny, because if you don't know it exists. Like, if you've never heard of the tabard before, there's nothing that tells you it exists. Which is kind of weird, but
yeah, it's just Blizzard things, small indie company.
Yes.
It's I'm sorry, it was not. It's a joke. It's just a joke.
It was not in the budget to include a pop up.
Yeah, that achievement was going to cost us over budget. So I know. I will say though, the weapons enchant and those tabards are actually looking pretty good.
Yeah,
must say.
if compared to like the more recent expansions, they
Hmm.
are looking good. Here's my as the kids say, my black pill take about rewards. And I'm gonna say something shocking, because me, I'm a huge fan of prestige.
Yep.
Um, so I guess in Mythic Plus they brought back the ability, or I'm sorry, they introduced the ability to buy previous Mythic Plus reward mounts. I
Hmm.
don't know exactly how it works, but that's my understanding. It's like now if you achieve some sort of rating in Mythic Plus, you get, I don't know, like a token or something, and you can buy like some of the old Mythic Plus mounts. I don't know if they're reskins or if they're the original colors, but
Pretty sure
I
they're the originals.
swear. Oh, okay. Okay, so here's my black pill take. I think Blizzard should just literally take the Wrathful Tabard and
Hmm.
just reskin it like 5 different times, because people love those old tabards, and just maybe not release the original tabard, but
Hmm.
just reskin that original Glad tabard. Those original Glad tabards were the best looking ones by far.
They
Um,
were good.
or they could just reskin like some of the old Glad mounts or something. Like they're doing it for Mythic Plus.
Yep.
And I think now's the perfect time to do it for PvP. You know, uh,
I don't know. Like there's a whole level of conversation there about people getting previous gladiator mounts not from out
but
of that
but but
season.
But let's be clear. This is why you reskin them. You
Fair.
make them look slightly different. You change the color scheme a bit,
Yeah.
change the name, so that it gives you the aura of the original
Mhm.
item, but it's separate from the original item.
Yeah, fair.
That's what I'd like to see.
All right. And yeah, anything that entices people to keep queuing and queue higher, I think totally that would be awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, this whole experiment they've been having in Midnight with Mythic Plus and now Mythic Rating. Have you heard about that? But in 12.0.7, they're going to allow for some flex Mythic Rating, so you're not stuck
Ooh,
at the fixed 20. It can bounce a bit. I think it's 17 to 25, I think, or something like that. And then
interesting.
yeah, so I mean they've been holding pretty hard on that line of like, no, 20 Mythic is Mythic and it's 20, and that's all the number it will ever be. So the fact that they've changed tune on that a little bit makes me wonder what else is going to get a little bit more flexible. And
Yeah.
I would be surprised if you're not wrong that if the PvP ends up seeing some reskins or something like that, something that you can earn in current that is a throwback but not an exact replica, unlike the Mythic Plus. So I feel
Also,
like Mythic Plus though, like the just the Keystone Master mount is actually pretty easy to get. Like and you can get carried to it pretty easy too.
but didn't they just this season release like a rank 1 mount for Mythic Plus? I believe there's like a very prestigious mount you can get now.
Yeah, I want to say you're right that there's this the rank 1 mount, and then I think before it was like a tabard or something like that, and a pennant or something. I can't remember. Anyway, but yeah, there's a new mount, and then again, like you said, for getting a certain level, a certain IO score, you start getting tokens to buy old mythic mounts that you may have missed out on because maybe you weren't playing then. And honestly, Mythic Plus has been around since BFA, so that's a lot of mounts. That's you know, not everybody was into it back then. So
Right.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. I do like the prestige, but again, I do like the idea of doing something where keeps people queuing, keeps people pushing, and not just stopping at, let's say, like 1800, right? Because if you ever look at the participation graphs, 1800 is like it's a very sharp drop. It's the cliffs of Moher, if you will, with
Yeah,
how fast it drops.
and I wonder if there's going to be this season because of the inflation, if there's going to be like a 2300 drop. Like what if I think that shift is going to change a little bit. Like people are
Mm-hmm.
gonna stop at a new rating, because that's how it was in previous seasons, and it was always kind of funny because I mean, me, like I pay attention to the rating distributions, and literally for every single spec, there's a spike at 1800, like a dramatic spike, and
Yeah.
it's like people get there and they camp.
Yep. Which sucks because they take all their they take their CR with them, right? They actually like pull it out of the bracket economy. I feel like this year or this season 1950 is kind of like probably the more likely drop off because of the weapons enchant.
Yeah. I was about to. You just reminded me what I was going to say a few minutes ago.
What?
One thing that's kind of weird. This is completely off topic, but the weapon enchants in TBC, I swear, are brighter, or like in classic, are brighter than the retail ones. Like the glorious tyranny one or whatever, the red one from Mop.
Yep.
It looks so much better on the Mop Classic servers for some reason. I don't know. What is this some cabal activity? Is this?
No. I think you're right. I think it's the particle factor and the amount of rays. I think with the new engine, they toned it down. Ever since oh shoot, what is that one? I tweeted a long time ago about it, and the devs actually came back and said, yeah, no, that's never going to get fixed. It had like, there's one where maybe it was the red one, but it was like super particle. It was like this massive cloud of particles, and I feel like it like ground some people's video cards to a halt, like just with having to draw it. And so they toned it down a huge amount, and they're never going to revert it back. And I'm not sure if it's because of people's video cards or if it's like on the server side of like the calculations for it.
Oh yeah,
might be too much.
The servers are on fire with these engines. Well, like yeah. someone puts a glorious tyranny on the transmog, and like Blizzard's electricity bill increases a little bit. Like,
quick, turn on the emergency generator.
someone put on a red enchant. Red alert.
That's too funny. I mean, we'll see. I feel like the design of the current one is pretty good. Like, it's got a good sparkle factor.
Oh yeah.
It's I mean, it's pretty baller. Not gonna lie, pretty baller.
There's got to be. They need to do more with cosmetics. Like, I'm okay. First of all, I'm a little bit underwhelmed with Blizzard's approach to cosmetics. I think they try to pump out as many transmogs as possible without focusing enough on the quality of those transmogs, like every single okay, like then let me give you a good example. In Dragonflight they released that clown transmog, or I think it was last expansion they had the like, I don't know, was it Easter or something? Oh, it was like the witch, like the not Wizard of Oz, but
the Wicked Witch.
No, it was the one with the hearts. It was like the e-girly transmog. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, whatever. I feel like there's so much they could do with cosmetics to make like cool, like genuinely cool things. Like before there used to be a cloak appearance that you'd get from, I don't know if that's still in the game, but like even like a cool cloak, there's probably some crazy things they could do with cloaks. Like there's the cloaks from like Shadowlands that are like kind of backpacks on your character, and they have like wings and stuff. I feel like they could do a lot with like that sort of aesthetic.
Yeah.
In tandem with the seasonal, weapon appearance. As my mom instilled in me many years ago when I was a young kid, like quality is better than quantity. I would love to see cooler rewards rather than like, you know, infinite more reward. You know, make
Mhm.
stuff that looks cool that people want
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
satisfying.
if they wanted to do that, what they should do is make backpacks that are the pennants for the AWC teams.
Yes, 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 yes. Eh,
That would be amazing.
oh
But
yeah, I mean, okay. Sorry to. I hate comparing World of Warcraft to like other games, but I don't know if it was League of Legends or Fortnite that I saw recently had like an NBA collaboration,
mhm.
and you could get like an NBA jersey on your character in game,
Yeah,
which I was like, damn, that's kind of cool. Like I want to be, you know,
that sounds like
I want to be.
Fortnite. That totally sounds
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Fortnite.
Like I want to
But
be wearing like a LeBron James jersey in WoW, but you know, okay, not exactly LeBron James, but you know what I mean. Like I want something like some pop culture type stuff in the game
sure,
too.
I wouldn't
Some
mind.
cool.
I wouldn't mind. I
Yeah.
I don't blame Blizzard for being a little shy though, because of the times that they have tried to exemplify some players, only to have that get bad because people are people and people make bad decisions. And
Yeah. Okay. But okay. So my counterpoint to that is I went to Brazil
uh
in 2021, and I was playing a lot of Pokemon Go at the time. And Pokemon Go had the most random collaboration ever with Gucci. So there was a Gucci Pokemon Go crossover. And in order to get the appearances, you had to go to a Gucci store. Because it was something you could only get from like the trading post, essentially,
mm-hmm.
you know, in real life. And my city that I lived in America didn't have a Gucci store, but in Brazil there was a Gucci store. And I thought, and that to me was like kind of the coolest thing ever. Like going to a Gucci store to get
Mm-hmm.
an in-game appearance for Pokemon Go. Like that was cool.
That is pretty cool.
Um, yes, and so my little avatar had a Gucci hat on,
Mm-hmm.
Gucci belt. You know, had the
That's
whole
awesome.
outfit,
That's
and
funny.
I thought that was badass.
That actually sounds so much better than Fanta. Not gonna lie.
Yes.
Huh. I just want to. So there's a couple things I want to point out though before we wrap this up, just news wise. So if anybody's not tracking, 12.0.7 got announced. They're dropping it on the 16th of June. Um, Following up with that, on the 30th of June, they're going to start with the turbulent timeways. So that'll be a great time if, let's say, you still want to level up some alts or something like that. You can level those up and have them ready for season 2, which I think a lot of people are probably going to do. I feel like season 2 is going to be more overrun with alts than season 1 was because of the way they're doing this. Now, I don't know. We still don't know when 12.1 is going to drop, so we don't know when season 2 is going to start. What do you think? If 12.0.7 is dropping next, well, basically a week and a half from now, right? What do you think? Are we season
So
12.1 in August?
yeah, I would assume somewhere around then because BlizzCon is September 12th, and
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna have the tournament then. I'm assuming they're gonna have the tournament somewhere in the beginning of season 2. Uh, if I had, you know, if I had to put my money on it,
Okay.
I think August is July, August. That's probably a good time to anticipate season 2.
Okay. I feel like that's such a double-edged sword. Um, they've done that before where they did an AWC with a recently dropped patch, and it was really janky because they fixed a bunch of stuff and there was other bugs, and the players were still like trying to figure stuff out. But then I think they've done it before where they kept the tournament realm on the previous patch, so they might have that as an option too.
So that's why I think it could be as early as July. It's like, okay,
Mm,
usually Blizzard does like crazy aggressive tuning like for the first like 8 weeks of the season.
yeah.
Um and so Yeah, I could see them maybe starting season 2 late July.
Mm-hmm.
That gives like at least 6 weeks until BlizzCon.
Yeah,
And then
more than enough time for Race to World First to finish.
Yep.
We'll see. A couple other items. Let's see here. Halinka. If everybody forgets, Ghostcrawler, Greg Street had left Blizzard a long time ago. Went over to Riot, was doing their MMO development. Left Riot, made his own game studio. Holinka had ended up joining him on designing that, and then recently, along with a bunch of other studios, funding all dried up, and so Holinka had to go find another job, and he just started this week at Riot Games, so he's going to be working on the MMO. So hopefully that comes out sooner than later. Now, that was, I'm going to admit, I was really surprised how polarized PvP community was. Like, there's a lot of people that were cheering on Holinka, and there's a number of people that were like still blaming him for what he did to, in their opinion, to World of Warcraft PvP.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a fan of the guy. Like, did some of the decisions pan out? No, but I feel like he did more good than bad.
You know, I'm a big fan now, in hindsight, of Legion.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole thing they did in Legion, the stat templates, I think that was very bold. Yep. And I think that, like, in hindsight, that was the correct way to approach PvP. Yeah. Did they nail it? No. Because I think there is some gray area that they missed with in terms of customization. Yep. You know, but at the same time, it's like, wow. You know, okay, not to plug my own video, but today I released a video on the Skill Cap channel called the most broken specs of every single WoW expansion.
Yep.
Okay, and spoiler alert, up until Legion, it's pretty easy to say what, the best spec of every expansion was. Mm-hmm. But when you hit Legion, it's like seeing things start to get a bit obfuscated. Like, you can't really tell. Like, Legion was honestly, in some ways, the most balanced PvP expansion.
It was.
So, I don't think it's any accident that the stat templates occurred during that expansion. So, But who am I to say, as a 20-year-old veteran of this game?
Honestly, the whole thing, I mean, it's opinions, right? Some people love them, some people hate them, whatever.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's a video game, right?
Yep.
If you're especially in today's game, like, if your class gets nerfed to the ground, it's literally like a week. You have another class leveled, another spec geared, and you're off playing. So honestly, I get the whole class fantasy. Like, I understand that some people very much only enjoy playing one class or one spec. I worry about those people, though, because, again, it's just a video game, and this isn't your identity, right? At the end of the day, it's pixels, it's bits and zeros. Tomorrow, World of Warcraft could end, and the servers could be shut down. What would your identity be then? I think is a valid question to ask yourself.
Yep.
Sorry, that got a little heavy at the end.
Jairusar, aka Plato of PvP.
No.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
Now I'm gonna have to change. I'm gonna have to make a tune that's named Socrates, another one named Plato. Thanks.
Hey, you got the beard already down. Like, just grow that out a little bit more. You'll be ready.
So if anybody hasn't, if you go to the video, you'll see I haven't gotten my beard trimmed for probably 5 weeks now, and it's I'm starting to look like Santa Claus again. So it's not good. It's actually it's the hairs are starting to curl around, and they're like tickling my mouth and stuff. It's kind of getting annoying, so I'm gonna have to fix this. Anyway, on that, I think we're pretty much at the end. Yeah, we're like, understanding we started a little late, but we're almost done an hour already.
Yep.
I think we should probably do some shout outs and get on our way.
So I have a shout out to give to Gizmo.
Oh,
We've talked about Gizmo before,
yeah.
but Gizmo has been doing exceptionally well this season on Resto Druid, and I think at one point it was like one of the top 10 Resto Druids on EU. So shout out to Gizmo for putting in the effort and being a a baller Resto Druid.
Cool. That's awesome. I'm absolutely flabbergasted that Druid isn't that easy, is it? Like, I think it's
No.
still it's it takes a certain finesse to play it that well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna give a shout out to the Valor Guild. So I went looking around for another for a PvP guild, and I found one. Now, mind you, it's mostly PvE, but they actually have a pretty solid PvP base as well. And I found out that they actually hold a monthly tournament, and it's not restricted just to guildies. It's only advertised into guild, but it's not. It's. But I asked them, and they said, yeah, I can advertise as well. So next one's going to be in June, obviously because we're in the month. So as soon as I hear about that, I'm going to. You'll probably see it on the socials. I'll share it, but. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember how much. It was a few thousand gold, if I remember correctly. They did. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Price bill. See the sign up link for details. Anyways, I'm pretty sure it was like a few thousand gold for the winners. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, so what I found that out actually doing. I found a website called Guilds of WoW, and also over on the Czech PvP website, they actually have a guilds tab, and he aggregates all the data, and you can see how well guilds are doing based off of their CR, how many people in their guild have what CR, both experienced and current. So you can actually like sort it out and see which one has like the highest score kind of thing based off of number of people and what their CR is. So I think that's pretty cool. All right. I guess that's pretty much it, guys. Big, do you want to do your thing?
Yeah, if you want to contact us for any reason, fan mail, as they say, you can contact us directly on X at technically_PvP, or on Blue Sky at technicallypvp.bluesky.social, or by an email even to technicallypvp@gmail.com. You can also join our discussions on our Discord.
Indeed. And we're now hosted on Libsyn. Link for that is going to be in the show notes. Don't forget to also go over to the Bonus Roll website, because they still have their podcast directory with us and many other great shows at www.bonusroll.gg. And they have the review system there. Go head over there. Let everybody know what you think of your favorite shows. Do the same thing over at Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all the other places. Make sure you give your stars, your reviews. It definitely helps feed the Matrix bot to help people find us and all your other favorite shows. And I want to say links for finding us is going to be in our show notes. And before I say a final adieu, I want to remind everybody our 10-year anniversary is coming up this month. So if you've been listening this late into the podcast, congratulations. We'll be doing some more stuff on socials, and we're going to try to do something special. But keep an eye out. All right. Take care, everybody. Good night, all.